The Central Board of Secondary Education has made it compulsory for class 9th and 10th students to study 3 languages starting July 1st. At least 2 of these languages must be Indian or native. The decision is part of education reforms that are linked to the National Education Policy 2020 and the National Curriculum Framework for School Education, which is the NCF-SE 2023. Students will not be stopped from appearing in class 10th board examination even if they do not perform well in the 3rd language, we are told. And all of this clarification is coming in from the CBSE. The subject will be assessed by the schools and not through the board examination system. The CBSE says that this is meant to implement the 3-language formula more strictly under the NEP 2020. The aim is to bring language learning in line with the national education reforms and to ensure students study multiple languages during the school. There is, however, another controversy that has also hit the CBSE, and that is the newly introduced on-screen marking or the OSM system to evaluate the class 12th board examination result for 2026. The exam results were declared this Wednesday, recording a huge drop in the overall pass percentage this year. It went down to 85.2%, which is a drop of 3.19% points from last year and the lowest level that has been seen in the past 7 years. Students are frustrated. They are demanding re-evaluation. The CBSE has clarified that the students can go in for a review by paying 100 rupees each, and if their marks do increase with that re-evaluation, then they are going to get refunded. Let's now take a look at what this entire row and this latest announcement by CBSE really is all about. What is it that is now there for students in class 9 and 10? What are they now looking at? So let's take a look at CBSE's 3-language formula, and all of this also will be part of the frequently asked questions that have come to light after this announcement by CBSE, where they have also said that everything will be implemented once the students are back from their summer break from July 1st this year. So first question is, what is the new rule? So basically, it's the 3 languages now that become compulsory: 2 Indian or 2 native languages, plus of course there is English. Then there is 2 Indian languages, and this is where we are breaking it down further. 1 foreign language. If you do decide not to go ahead with English, is there a loophole there? Can you look at other languages is the big question, and can you do away with English entirely? Of course, the students who have always been taught in English, this is the primary mode of communication. This is going to be a big worrying aspect. When will it start? New rule is going to be implemented from July 1st, 2026. So like I said, right after the children come back from their summer break is when they are going to be slapped with this new rule. Who is it applicable for? It's for students of class 9th and of class 10th. So those are the ones who will get impacted. How will the exams happen? There is no board exam, we are told, for the 3rd language, and that has been coming as part of the clarification so that it's not taken as a huge load for the students, because it is happening right in the middle of an ongoing session, remember. A session which has already seen a change right at the onset without even, and there's another controversy associated with this, without even books that were there in the market, in the domain of the students to keep themselves ready at the beginning of this session. And now we are seeing another such change. It's going to massively be impacting students of 9th and the 10th classes. How will the exams happen? Assessment is going to be internal, is what we are learning. So this is another important aspect, because everything boils down to how are you being assessed and how much is it going to be really impacting you? Are your marks going to come down? Is it going to be helping the evaluation process? And is that also going to be adding to your already marks that have been, in fact, doing what you have been getting? CBSE on-screen marking for class 12th board examination is the other bone of contention, because this too has been introduced. Now, why is this a problem? First of all, let's take a look at the number of students that have appeared, and that's the whopping number of 17,68,968 students. They appeared for class 12 board examination from CBSE. So they have been subject to this on-screen marking or the OSM, and that has what has led to this major furor, because the evaluators were about 70,000 as compared to so many students. The answer scripts were, look at the number here, 98,66,622. So you can basically get an idea of how many evaluators are there and how many answers or papers is each one really checking, because the number is way high. Now, the pass percentage came down by more than 3% from last year. It came down to 85.2, and this is a decline by 3.19%. And that's where the problem lies, because very many of the students who were 90% and rank holders could not really attain that amount of marks this time around. Now, when it is about the on-screen marking, or is it on digital evaluation system, that has been a major grouse for the students and for the wards, for the parents and their wards, and that is what has come to light. The answer sheets have been checked on computers instead of the answer books. So this is the major change. It's not like in fact, physical marking. It's the computer screens where the assessment is being made by the evaluators. The answer sheets are then scanned securely. This is what the CBSE is suggesting, and that's why there is no loophole in this system, and it's then uploaded to a digital platform from where you can get that report card and that assessment on how exactly have you been evaluated. The evaluators then assess the responses online as well. Any kind of grievance also is presented online, we are told, and then that process improves the consistency in the marking. This is the version coming in from the CBSE in order to, in fact, put the grievances out there and maintain that consistency. It also reduces circulation-related mistakes. So any on-paper circulation, that is completely ruled out. If at all there could have been manual handling mistakes, so that gets ruled out completely. Now, if we take a look at how does this on-screen marking really work? Step one is secrecy and anonymity. You never get to know on how are you being evaluated, who is the evaluator. So there is no way of any which way trying to go ahead and color the narrative or probably influence the person who is evaluating. Scanning of answer books is done. That's step number 2. Then the quality check of the scanned copies is also done. There is a maintenance. Secure distribution, that comes later once all the evaluation process is done. Then the security measures are taken, they are put into account, and then the digital evaluation by the examiners are conducted. So this is a basic process, and these are the number of steps that we are looking at. Then there is a rechecking and monitoring. It's not just a one-time checking of the answer sheets, it's also rechecking and monitoring that is done as step number 7 as part of this on-screen marking is concerned. And that's when, and this is where CBSE in fact puts forth the advantages of the OSM system. There is an evaluation, an elimination of the totaling and the tabulation error. So once that manual error is done away with, the tabulation error also is ruled out completely. That's what the CBSE is saying. So any kind of grouse, elimination, manual errors, all of that is completely done away with because everything is computerized. It's accurate and consistency in evaluation is maintained. The other aspect is there is a faster declaration of the results because everything is on the computer systems online. Nothing is manually done. Improved transparency and also monitoring, and that is something which is paramount. No kind of influencing, whether it is about the students or the evaluators. Enhanced security during the evaluation process is also ensured. We also are looking at reduced administrative workload. So I just told you about the number of evaluators and the number of answer sheets. So the workload gets significantly low and it's more sustainable and cost-effective operations. CBSE does in fact put out these points. How much of it is well taken by the parents, their wards, is something we are going to be discussing today. But we're now getting some breaking news on the broadcast. Let's take a look at that. Rahul Gandhi has now escalated his attack on the education minister. He says, first, there is this NEET paper leak. That impacts 22 lakh students, and now CBSE class 12 students are receiving unexpectedly low marks from a broken OSM system. Many are losing their college eligibility. Now, lakhs of CBSE class 9 students are suddenly asked to learn a new language from the 1st of July with no teachers, no textbooks, and class 6th books are being handed to 14-year-olds as a transitional fix. 3 examinations, 3 age groups, 1 minister. Dharmendra Pradhan ji has not failed once. He has failed every single age group of India's students at once. Every announcement plunges children deeper into uncertainty. Every failure goes unpunished. The Education Ministry has become a department of disasters. Prime Minister Modi ji, can you at least apologize to the lakhs of children whose futures you and your ministers have destroyed? So that is a question that Rahul Gandhi has left with. That is a direct attack at not just the country's education minister, but also a cloaked attack and appeal that has been directed towards the Prime Minister. He is not just speaking about these changes that have been done by the CBSE when it is about this latest announcement. It is also, he's also going on to talk about the OSM, the marking system, the online marking system, on-screen marking system, and he is also eventually talking about the NEET paper leak. We've opened our phone lines for our viewers to, in fact, call us, share their views on what do they feel about these latest changes, and these are big ones, ladies and gentlemen, that has in fact come into effect, will be coming into effect from July 1st, when it is about the class 9th and class 10th students, when it is about the third language. But what about the on-screen marking? What about the NEET paper leak? All of these questions are for you to answer, for you to ask us, and we will try and evaluate every one of those questions and pose those to our guests who are with us. We have, in fact, our first caller who's joining us on the broadcast. In fact, let's go to him. Ashish Mehta is joining us from Hyderabad, I believe. Ashish, go ahead. Make your point. Ahmedabad.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, I wanted to talk about this 3-language policy. I think is disastrous. Absolutely disastrous. Because we all grew up with just 2 languages, either Hindi or Gujarati,
yes,
and English, if you're in an English medium school. So this is too much burden on young people, and they should concentrate more on subjects like mathematics and science if we want to go somewhere in this world today. Not waste time studying 3 languages. I think it is a disastrous policy. It should be 2 languages. Either you choose Hindi and the language of your state. So in Gujarat, it would be either Hindi or Gujarati and English. Now, if somebody doesn't want to study English, they can study Hindi and Gujarati.
Yes.
But they should make it only 2 languages. This 3-language thing is disastrous, I think, for the students. And I really think the center is making a mistake. And I'm a supporter of PM Modi saying this. I don't support Rahul Gandhi. And I'm saying this is a disastrous policy the government is doing.
Okay, Ashish, you made a point. Thank you so much for, in fact, joining us on the broadcast. Let's open this up to our guests as well who are joining us. Feroz Bakht Ahmed, former Chancellor of the Maulana Azad National Urdu University, is with us. Also with us is Naveen Chopra, who's a Global Education Group founder and educationist. Mr. Feroz Bakht, let me in fact begin with you. One of the callers coming in from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's state does go on to mention how he's supportive of each and every policy that comes out of the BJP stable or the government at the center stable, but this one he's not one with. Do you see a similar sentiment pan-India when it is about this announcement by the CBSE?
All right. Thank you so much. I heard this caller, I think his name is Ashish from Gujarat.
Yes.
And his concern was bang on target. Firstly, you know, about the third language. Let me tell Ashish and all the people who are listening to me that 3-language formula is not something new. It was already there. Let me tell you one thing. When I used to go to school, I had 3 languages. One was, of course, English, then Hindi, and then I also studied Urdu. There was a choice between Urdu and Sanskrit. This was in Delhi, in a school in Delhi. Anyway, the problem, I think this is not a bad option. If you can learn, I am in the favor of learning as many languages as you can, Indian or foreign. Having said that, let me also tell you this thing, that the students, when the schools open on the 1st of July, they would be burdened upon this third language, though I am in favor of third language, but they might not be having the books, they might not be having the teachers to teach. So this is a knee-jerk action
Which
on the
was
part of the
exactly
government.
what had happened at the beginning of this session. There were similar reports that had come in that there was a completely new curriculum that was announced at the beginning of this session, and there were no
Yes.
books for the students to read. So do you think that this is a very, very abrupt sort of an announcement that has been put into effect?
Yes, yes.
And
Let me complete.
what happens to basically how you go about it, that'll become a problem. And you, Mr. Feroz Bakhti, also mentioned about Urdu. Let's talk about a state like Uttar Pradesh. Majority of the schools in NCR also are in Noida. When it is about the third language or a regional language, the choice is not between Sanskrit and Urdu. The choice is only Sanskrit and Hindi. What do you make of that?
See, I feel there should not be any bias between the languages. Urdu is as lovely and a wonderful language as is Sanskrit. In my class 8, I got 96 marks in Sanskrit because I loved Sanskrit. And even today, I love reading Sanskrit, whatever knowledge I have of the language. First thing is
And
this.
Sanskrit is very
Second
high
thing
scoring.
is,
I could tell from my school days.
absolutely. You can get 100 on 100 in
Yes.
Sanskrit.
Yes.
When I got 96, I asked my Sanskrit teacher where those 4 marks have gone. She said, "Look here, Firoz, two mistakes in Halant and two mistakes in Visarga." Anyway, now let me come to the
Sure.
main. I'll just take 1 or 2 more
Sure.
seconds.
Sure.
See, it's a good policy, but as you mentioned, practically it will create a lot of problems because in this kind of scenario, when you have no books, you have no teachers, how you will manage it? So this knee-jerk reaction kind of a thing should not be loaded upon the students,
Okay.
right? The young students, they are very keen. And, the other thing when you talked about, I am just completing
Sure.
about this marking system, new marking system of the sheets. I am not in favor of that.
Okay, all right. There is still a lot of vagueness when it is about the new marking system. We'll come to that. Mr. Naveen Chopra, I'll come to you in just a bit because we've got more callers who are joining us. Racheta Das is joining us from Greater Noida. Racheta, go ahead. Make your point.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening. I would like to speak that this introduction of this on-screen marking system, which has raised serious concerns among students and parents, with many reporting unexpectedly low marks and low scores, and despite these children having a strong academic record. So when a system is handling this kind of future of lakhs of students who are, the system has to be really strong, and it should be really certain. And if such kind of
Okay.
discrepancies arises, the questions are bound to arise. So my point is, we as parents, there are social media messages. Social media is flooded with messages, and children's future is on stake. My daughter herself, she has also got through JEE mains, but she is unable to score 75% in PCS. So, which is totally, shocking, and it has shaken it's not just one or two children.
Okay.
This is nationwide. The protest is
Right.
nationwide, and I'm glad that CNN news channel has taken up this
Right.
issue.
Right, Racheta, thank you so much for appreciating our efforts, and we would like more parents like yourself to join us and, in fact, present your grievances to the nation so that anybody who is like-minded can also come out and present the separate picture as well. But thank you so much for joining us. Advik Agarwal is also joining us from Delhi. Advik, go ahead, make your point.
Yes. So this OSM marking is totally not good because has received criticism from many students and teachers. Although it aims to make checking faster and more digital, but
Yes.
marking answer sheets on computer may cause eye strain, technical problems, and it is not good for students because the students who are extremely good at studies will face a lot of issues, and that 3 language formula is not good. It's very, very bad because students have to learn Sanskrit, Hindi, and English, and additionally, you can learn foreign language like German, French, and like most of the students will not learn it, German and French, because they already have a lot of burden, and the books have been not released. It's a lot of pressure on the students, and the OSM marking scheme is not good. Like, yes, I want to make a point.
Thank you so much for that, Advik, for joining us on the broadcast. Naveen, we've got 3 callers so far who've joined us, and they have said the same thing. Any kind of responses or defense that's coming in from the CBSE is not really cutting any ice with the students and with the students who have been slapped with this sudden decision. Mr. Firoz Bakht has called it knee-jerk. Would you, in fact, do you share similar sentiments? What do you make of OSM, the marking system? What was the need to bring it in with the claims that the CBSE is making that this is going to make this entire process of evaluation more smooth and without any errors?
Well, I mean, thinking about it, really, the idea of 3 languages by itself and in itself is not a bad one. It's a good idea, given the global scenario. The way it is being rolled out shows to me that it's very surface thinking. There's not been much depth of thinking in this whole thing because, fact one, the best ages to teach languages is early childhood. This is an established fact. If you Google a simple question of how many languages can a child between the ages of 5 and 10 learn, you will get an answer up to 4 comfortably managed. So the real time when languages should be introduced is in from class 5 onwards. The load at that time is good. Language teaching can be fun. The child will absorb the language, and by the time you come into class 9 and 10, there is a level of proficiency which is amazing. Number 2, in class 9 and 10, there is already pressure on the main subjects which the student has to do well in if they are going to start opening up their options for decent colleges and courses which are going to form their careers. And you are adding mid academic year something completely new, which again you are saying is not going to be marked, so who's going to study it? Thirdly, if there has to be a language policy or 3 languages, there is extreme resistance and has been extreme resistance in the South for decades, since the 60s, on Hindi being taught or forced down their throats. If you really wanted to do a language policy that had some depth of thought, what you would be saying is that for all North Indians, they should learn at least one South Indian language, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, whatever, and that should be done early, class 5 onwards, as I said.
It's a noble thought, but a very far-fetched one, and they would obviously turn around and say that the NAP has been in place in 2020, but the kind of retaliation that's coming in from down south, and you're absolutely right, Mr. Chopra, about that, has been the age-old grouse that this is an underhanded way of introducing Hindi into the curriculum for the students. Let's see what happens about this decision of the CBSE. But right now, we only have time for so much as far as this discussion goes. We'll try and get you more updates on this story now that Rahul Gandhi has also spoken. And this is a direct attack on not just the Education Minister, but also Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Let's see the responses that will begin coming in from the BJP over it. We go into a very, very short break.